What's up guys, and welcome back to On the Brick with another minifig showcase. As some of you may remember, last month I did a review of LEGO's official Razor Crest set, and one of the things I said during that review was that I was not a fan of the Greef Karga minifigure. Put simply, it's just not very good at all. The coloring on this minifigure is completely wrong. I just don't get why they went with a red color for some reason. The torso printing is pretty lackluster and doesn't really represent the character well. There's no leg printing, though I can't really fault them for that. That's kind of just a LEGO default. And the yellow arms really throw everything off even more, as it's just not accurate. I'm not one who's just gonna complain and leave it at that. I like to complain and then do something about it. In this case, I went and I bought Firestar Toys Greef Karga. I haven't actually opened this yet, so I wanted to take the opportunity to show that these are really easy to open. You don't need scissors, a knife, or anything like that. These just pop out and your minifigure is right there, good to go, and then if you want, you can close the package just as easily. But who is Greef Karga? Greef Karga is a character we see in the Mandalorian show. Following the collapse of the Galactic Empire, he became an agent of the Bounty Hunters Guild, giving many bounties to Mando. In fact, Greef Karga is the one who told the Mandalorian about the quite unusual job from an individual simply known as the Client, which ended up leading us all to Baby Yoda. For the sake of those who haven't seen the show quite yet, I won't say much more than that. I will say that he does have a recurring role in the show, and it was one that I very much enjoyed, and I hope we do get to see more of him moving forward. And I think this figure does a really good job at representing what he actually looks like in LEGO form. To start with, I want to compare the heads between the Firestar Toys and the LEGO version. As you can see, both of them are very similar, even having the same expression on their face. Of course, Firestar has the mouth closed, but the eyebrows are actually the same when you look at it. But I also just like how the Firestar Toys head looks, as it's much more detailed. Next most noticeable thing is definitely that the colors on the Firestar Toys figure are much more accurate, and of course there's significantly more detail all over. There's not even really a comparison between these two, to be honest. Colors on Firestar are much more accurate. They actually have printing on the legs as well, and overall it just looks significantly better. Figures like this are why I like custom figures at all. I've seen a lot of comments from people saying that they will never buy a custom figure because they're either too detailed, or they don't look like LEGO, or they're too expensive. While those are certainly fair criticisms, I think something like this kind of shows otherwise for the most part. Because seriously, these two figures are nowhere near alike. They are on two completely different levels. If you like the official LEGO figure, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You are more than welcome to, of course. But for someone like me who didn't like it, I'm happy that there is an alternative out there that looks as good as it does. And sure, it might be on the expensive side, but I would rather that than be stuck with someone who doesn't look like Greef Karga. I really love how the torso looks here, again with the correct color, but also just the really nice line detailing and how the belt looks. Like I mentioned earlier, there is printing on the legs and even some printing on the toes to represent some mud here. Even though it gets covered up by the trench coat, there is printing on the sides of the legs here. It's on both sides, of course, and it's a little difficult to see back here, but the back of the legs are dual printed as well, with it being half black and half brown. One very noticeable difference is the color of the arms, as the one on the Firestar Toys version is much more accurate to what we see, and it really doesn't even stand out nearly as much as the LEGO version does. Also, just to mention that the Firestar Toys does not come with a double head, it is only the single printing that you see. However, one thing that this figure does come with are two custom molded pistols. These both look very awesome, both of them are exactly identical, and they really do help complete this figure. So overall, if you are looking for a good Greef Karga, then I would highly recommend checking out Firestar Toys and picking theirs up. I currently own 3 of their figures, 2 of which I have shown off on this channel, and all of them have been really cool, and I'm really happy to have this guy. But let me know your thoughts on him in the comments down below, and let me know your your thoughts on Mandalorian Season 2. Are you excited to watch it when it comes out on Friday? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, as it really does go a long way towards helping me out. And if you would like to see more custom minifigures, please do consider checking me out on Patreon. If you do, you can join the likes of all these wonderful people, including Jonathan and Jaden. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.